told you it was nice.
Cool. Okay, so very quickly, as I say, I'll run through how to drive the car, because that's one set of instructions. You'll be distracted by this whilst you're driving, but try not to be, and then when we get back, we'll then run through how to use everything on there.
Yeah.
So, on the left-hand side, you're right at the moment, you've got forwards, backwards, up and down to adjust the seats. And then you can adjust the steering column as well, and there's a smaller one just under here that does that. So you can go up, down, in and out the steering column to adjust that. And your mirrors are down here on the side, but I think all of us roughly the same sort of height, you probably won't need to adjust those for what we're doing. Onto the other control. So up here we've got cruise control. You won't need to touch that one today. Underneath we've got indicator stalk, which hopefully you will touch at some point. And then underneath that's the adjustment there. So apart from that, it's very normal to drive. So when you put your foot on the brake, because there is no key, start, stop, ignition or anything else, what I should do at this point is show you the key. It's a miniature version of the car. So when you click on the front opens. When you click on the back, the trunk or the boot opens. So once you're in the car, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. You put your foot on the brake, and then this dash will present itself. So this big white 0 in the middle, that's your miles per hour, and that will also be represented going in a clockwise fashion in blue around on the left-hand side there. And then if we turn the heating and things on very quickly, you'll see this orange line. But you guys being used to driving GWs anyway, you know a little bit about electric vehicles and what it's doing. So this is kilowatts, so it's the amount of energy that you're using. Yeah. And that will go up counterclockwise in orange, but it'll also drop down in green when you're in regen mode. Does the GWs have regen?
Yeah.
Does it do that? Okay.
Yeah, but you're not aware of it.
Right, okay, you will be aware of it on this. So there are different settings you can play around with in terms of how it feels. I'll put you in, because you're used to it, in the most sort of aggressive or most EV style way of driving, the most efficient way. Yeah. So all you'll do today really is, rather than use the brake pedal to stop, you'll just be modulating the accelerator. And that'll be sort of a direct correlation to your speed rather than revs in the normal car. So unless you need to, and don't let me stop you use the brakes, you know, if there's an emergency, feel free. Other than that, just up and down on the accelerator and that will slow you down and speed you up. So to make the car go, foot on the brake, dash appears, and then this is your gear control just here. So you go down into drive, so nothing happens, press and go forwards. You'll see it will just roll to a stop. And then if you want to change reverse, up into reverse, same thing.
There's a camera on there as well.
There is, so the rear view camera pops up as soon as you put it into reverse automatically. You can also run with that all the time as well.
Yeah.
And then down a little bit into neutral, so you can see there's a sort of second detent to go between all the gears. And then pressing on the end, and that's the parking brake going on, and the sound that you heard there was the door handles popping out. And that's it, you just get out the car and walk away. Happy with all that?
Yeah, I think so.
So, into drive, press go, that's all it. So, I'll very quickly get out of the way of this car here. Wind these windows up. And so, as I say, I will quickly show you what it will do, because
I just want to ask you one thing actually before we set off, which is about suspension settings, because as I understand you can raise and lower the car.
That's right.
As per needed for speed humps or areas that you need it. So how does that work?
So in the control settings just in here, you've got driving, and you can adjust those. Really it's more for if you need to enter a steep driveway, or you're going over thick snow or something like that, where you can raise it up to the very high standard. Or if you want to show off when you're driving around town, you can have it very low.
Okay.
But
you can put the height up if you need it in certain areas.
That's right.
Yeah, that's clever.
Something you don't often need to touch, but it's a very handy feature, of course, especially in Nordic areas and everywhere else.
Well, we often find that our car's a bit too low, don't we, Lizzie?
Yeah, that's ours. It's great. We bust sumps and all sorts.
Hanging on in there.
You've been taking it around the Nürburgring.
It's been about 165,000 miles. Yeah.
So yeah, you can raise it up to avoid those, but it will also automatically lower when you get to sort of highway or motorway speeds rather, for the aero efficiency.
So, is it four-wheel drive?
Rear wheel drive.
Rear-wheel
drive. I will demonstrate that now, I imagine, because the road's a little bit slippery. You've probably, I would assume, reading what you have, heard about how sporty the car is.
Yeah.
As it's damp right now, if you watch your necks, it will try and grab traction as it takes on. So there you go, you can see it's rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So if it was dry, it would have picked up better. So we're now doing a speed, 35. You stand on the accelerator again, go straight up to 40.
Yeah.
Which is the speed limit.
Yeah.
So, I'll very quickly turn around in here for you, and then you guys can take over.